You are not losing interest in your life by accident. If everything around you suddenly feels flat, empty, or irrelevant, this is not the beginning of a problem. It is the final signal that something fundamental has already changed. This experience, this hollowing out of what once mattered, is not a sign of psychological weakness. It is a measurable shift described by the unyielding laws of quantum mechanics, a precise signature of consciousness disengaging from one coherent reality before another can fully form. You are not breaking down. You are in transition between worlds. In the next 45 minutes, you are going to understand exactly why this is happening to you, what it truly means, and most importantly, why this profound state of detachment only appears at the very end of a major personal transformation. We will dismantle the fear that you are failing or regressing and replace it with the certainty of a physicist observing a predictable phenomenon. This explanation is grounded in physics, not philosophy. For over a century, experiments like the famous double-slit experiment have demonstrated a reality so strange, so counterintuitive, that it forces us to abandon everything we think we know about the world. These experiments show without a doubt that the universe exists as a shimmering field of pure potential, an ocean of probabilities, until an observer looks. The moment consciousness enters the equation, waves of possibility collapse into a single concrete particle of experience. Your observation is not passive. Your attention is not a neutral spotlight. It is the creative force that selects which version of reality solidifies out of the infinite field. And when your attention begins to withdraw, the world it once sustained begins to dissolve. If you felt confused, isolated, or even guilty for not caring the way you used to, if you have felt a deep exhaustion from trying to force excitement for goals you once cherished, that emotional disorientation is not a flaw. It is the exact, expected, and necessary response when your old reality can no longer hold your attention. You are not failing to connect with your life. Your life, the one built on old frequencies and past versions of you, is failing to connect with who you have become. If this scientific, evidence-based explanation is already bringing you relief, hit the like button now. It tells YouTube this kind of clarity matters and helps it reach others who are experiencing the same signal. People who feel just as lost as you did a few moments ago. This entire process can be understood through a powerful and precise metaphor. Think of consciousness as a highly sensitive quantum radio, and reality as a specific broadcast frequency. For your entire life, you have been tuned to a particular station. That station played the music of your ambitions, your relationships, your identity, your problems. You knew the songs by heart. You felt the emotional resonance of every note. You danced to its rhythm, you cried to its melodies. But after years of inner work, of expanding your awareness and raising your internal state, you have unknowingly, automatically, retuned the dial. You are no longer on the same frequency. The old station is still playing its broadcast, but to you, it now sounds like static, faint, distant, irrelevant. The emotional charge is gone. The meaning has faded. The signal is lost. So, what does detachment feel like spiritual, and why does it show up now? Let's break it down step by step. It feels like the silence between stations. You are trying to feel the old excitement, the old motivation, the old connections, but you simply can't, because your receiver is no longer calibrated to that broadcast. This isn't apathy. It is a frequency mismatch. Have you ever noticed that even things you worked hard to manifest no longer excite you the way you expected? That new job, that relationship, that accomplishment, you achieved it, and for a moment it felt right, but the feeling quickly faded into a quiet neutrality. This isn't a sign that you chose the wrong goal. It's a sign that you became a different person while pursuing it, and the reward exists on a frequency you no longer inhabit. The exhaustion you feel is the strain of trying to listen to a station that is out of range. The confusion is the disorientation of hearing only silence, where music once was. And the fear is the belief that your radio is broken. It is not broken. It has simply been upgraded. By the end of our time together, that fear of being broken will be replaced with the absolute certainty of an engineer who understands the mechanics of their own consciousness. You will stop blaming yourself for the silence and start listening for the faint signal of a new broadcast, a new reality that is just beginning to come into range. The great detachment is not an ending, It is the sound of the dial turning. To understand what is happening to you, we have to look at the fundamental nature of reality itself, not as a philosophy, but as a physical process. For decades, the foundation of modern physics has rested on an experiment so profound, so baffling, that it continues to challenge everything we think we know about the world. It's called the double-slit experiment, and it is the key to decoding your current experience. Imagine firing tiny particles like microscopic grains of sand at a wall with two vertical slits in it. Behind this wall is a detector screen that records where each particle lands. If the particles behave like simple objects, you would expect to see two distinct lines on the screen, a pattern matching the two slits. Simple, logical, predictable. But that is not what happens. When the experiment is run without any observation, the particles don't create two lines. Instead, they create a wave pattern, a series of many lines as if each particle was a wave that passed through both slits simultaneously. A single particle acts as if it is in multiple places at once, existing as a field of pure potential. It is everywhere and nowhere. It is a wave of probability. This is where it gets critical. The moment scientists place a detector at the slits to observe which one the particle goes through, the moment consciousness decides to measure it, the entire phenomenon changes. The wave collapses, the interference pattern vanishes, and the particles begin to land in two distinct lines, exactly as predicted by classical physics. The act of observation forces a wave of infinite possibilities to collapse into a single, concrete event. Your attention is the measurement device. Your consciousness is the act of observation that tells the universe which possibility to make real. Reality, at its most fundamental level, is not a fixed, solid thing. It is a quantum field of infinite potential, a spectrum of probabilities waiting for a conscious observer to select one. You are not a passive spectator in your life. You are the collapsing agent. Every moment of every day, your focus is selecting one reality out of an endless ocean of what could be. This brings us to the great detachment signal. Think of that quantum field as an infinite broadcast spectrum, like all the radio stations in the universe existing at once. There's a frequency for the reality where you are struggling, and a frequency for the one where you are thriving, a frequency for your old identity, and a frequency for your new one. Each reality is a song, a broadcast, playing on its own unique frequency. Your consciousness is the tuner on this quantum radio. Your internal state, your beliefs, your emotional signature, your dominant assumptions, is what sets the dial. For years, perhaps your entire life, your radio has been tuned to one station, the station of your old self. The broadcast was clear. The songs were familiar. The drama, the goals, the struggles, they all had a powerful emotional resonance. They felt real because your consciousness was fully locked onto that frequency. The great detachment signal is the scientific term for the static you are hearing now. It is the definitive indication that your tuner is no longer locked onto that old frequency. The signal is fading. The music is becoming distant and irrelevant. That deep, gut-level feeling of disinterest is not a sign that you are broken. It is the sound of your consciousness drifting away from a broadcast you no longer resonate with. The loss of emotional charge is the evidence of a successful retuning in progress. And this is why all the old methods have stopped working. This is why forcing yourself to feel gratitude for a life that feels hollow only creates more exhaustion. It's why trying to motivate yourself to chase goals that no longer inspire you feels like a lie. You have been trying to turn up the volume on a radio station that is going out of range. You cannot force yourself to enjoy the sound of static. You cannot use affirmations to convince yourself that static is a beautiful symphony. The more you try, the more you amplify the dissonance between where your consciousness is and where your physical reality currently stands. Your effort was never the problem. Your strategy was. You've been trying to fix the reception, believing the radio was broken. But the truth is, the broadcast tower of your old reality is simply too far away now. You have traveled. You have shifted. The inner work you did, the patterns you broke, the healing you accomplished, that wasn't for nothing. That was the work of changing your internal frequency. That was the slow, steady turning of the dial inside of you. Detachment is not something you are actively doing. It is the inevitable effect of what has already been done. The flatness, the apathy, the void you feel is not an absence of life. It is the quiet, sacred space between stations. It's the necessary silence before the new frequency can lock in and a new broadcast can begin. This is spiritual awakening signs explained in simple terms. Your external world always lags behind your internal frequency. You have already changed. The world around you is just waiting for the memo. Think about it. Where in your life have you been trying to amplify a signal that already faded instead of allowing silence to exist? For years, you have been operating under one fundamental assumption, that your job is to find the right frequency. You've been told to raise your vibration, to tune your inner radio to the station of abundance, of love, of success. And so you've tried. You've forced gratitude. You've visualized. You've meditated, journaled, and affirmed, all in an effort to lock onto a better signal being broadcast from somewhere out there. And when you feel that signal fade, when the interest wanes and the world turns to monochrome, you assume the failure is yours. You believe you've lost the station. But here is the central paradox, the one that changes the entire game. You are not losing interest in your reality. Your reality is losing its ability to hold your interest. Read that again. This isn't a word game. It is the most profound shift in perspective you will ever experience. The emptiness you feel is not a deficit within you. It is the signature of an environment that can no longer provide the complex, high-frequency data your consciousness now requires to stay engaged. You have outgrown it. Like a scholar forced to read a children's book over and over, your mind, your very being, has begun to disengage not out of failure, but out of necessity. The old broadcast is too simple. It's repetitive. It lacks the nuance and depth that you have cultivated within yourself. The hopelessness you've been feeling is born from a single flawed premise, that you are the radio receiver. Today, that illusion shatters. The great revelation is this: you are the broadcast tower. Consciousness is not a passive receiver waiting for a signal from the universe. Consciousness is the source of the signal. The quantum field, that infinite ocean of potential, doesn't broadcast realities at you. It arranges itself around the frequency you emit. For your entire life, you have been unknowingly broadcasting a signal based on your beliefs, your wounds, and your conditioning. The world you saw was the perfect reflection of that broadcast. But you did the work. You healed. You questioned. You expanded. And in doing so, you fundamentally changed your core frequency. You upgraded your transmission equipment. And now, the old world, which was built to resonate with your old signal, can no longer process your new one. It's like trying to play a high-definition video on an analog television. The screen just shows static. That static, that flatness, that loss of interest, that is the great detachment signal. This changes everything. Absolutely everything. Think of the years of effort, the exhaustion of trying to fix yourself, the subtle shame of never quite feeling like you've arrived. All of it was based on the model of the seeker, the receiver, the one who is lacking and must find something outside themselves. That entire paradigm just became obsolete. If you are the broadcast tower, then you are not broken. You do not need to be fixed. You do not need to chase or strive or desperately try to feel something you don't. The work is already done. The transformation you were waiting for has already occurred internally. The detachment you feel is the final, lagging external evidence of that completed inner shift. Your only remaining task is to stop trying to re-engage with the static of the old broadcast. So how do you do this? What is the new approach? It is both the simplest and most difficult thing you will ever be asked to do. You stop forcing emotion. You allow neutrality. In a world obsessed with high-vibe culture, neutrality is often mistaken for apathy or depression. But in the physics of creation, neutrality is the most powerful state of being. It is the 0 point. It is the calm, silent, motionless field of pure potential from which all particles, all forms, all realities are born. Forcing yourself to feel happy or grateful when your reality feels flat is like screaming over static. It's exhausting and ineffective. It introduces chaotic noise into the field. Allowing neutrality, on the other hand, is an act of supreme power. It is a declaration that you will no longer let the old, dying reality dictate your emotional state. It's you, the broadcast tower, going silent for a moment to recalibrate to a new, clearer, more powerful frequency. This is how to know your reality is shifting. Your feelings are no longer controlled by your environment. Your inner state becomes the cause, not the effect. That quietness you've been craving, that pull away from drama and noise, is your soul's instinct to find this 0 point. It knows that in that stillness a new broadcast can be formulated and sent out, not with force, but with clarity. What if the emptiness you feel isn't absence, but space being cleared for something entirely new? This is the ultimate transformation of identity. You must let the old identity die completely. You are not a seeker waiting for a sign. You are the observer whose state of being is the sign. You are the one who determines, by the frequency you hold in the stillness, which version of reality solidifies out of the quantum foam. Your attention is the most valuable commodity in the cosmos. It is the collapsing agent. It is the mechanism by which potential becomes actual. Every moment you spend trying to re-engage with the job that drains you, the relationships that no longer resonate, the goals that feel hollow, you are feeding energy to a ghost. You are keeping a dead reality on life support through the power of your observation. The great detachment signal is your permission slip to finally let it go, to turn away, to stop observing what is and, in the sacred neutrality of the present moment, begin to broadcast what will be. You are no longer just living in reality. You are the you, architect of it. And this quiet, this emptiness, is your drawing board. An epiphany is just information until it's validated by the real world. The great detachment signal is not a theory. It's an event. And like any major event in the quantum field, it leaves behind evidence. It leaves fingerprints on the fabric of your reality, confirming that the decoupling is complete. This is how you move from believing this is happening to knowing it is happening. You don't have to guess. You just have to learn how to read the data. These signs are not subtle, but they are almost always misinterpreted by the mind that is still conditioned to the old frequency. Let's examine the first and most misunderstood quantum fingerprint, emotional neutrality. This is the one that sends most people into a panic. You feel flat. The things that used to trigger intense anger, deep sadness, or ecstatic joy now barely register. The drama of the world, the emotional hooks in your relationships, the highs and lows you once navigated, they feel distant, muted. Your first thought, conditioned by the old paradigm, is that you're becoming numb, depressed, apathetic. You fear you're losing your humanity, your capacity to feel. This is a profound misreading of the data. You are not becoming numb. You are becoming stable. Think of an old radio, constantly crackling with static, its needle jumping wildly between distorted stations. That was your old emotional body, constantly reacting to the chaotic frequencies of a reality you were entangled with. Every drama was a broadcast that hijacked your system. Every perceived slight, every piece of external validation was a signal that sent your energy spiking or crashing. Now, imagine a state-of-the-art receiver, locked onto a pure, coherent signal. The static is gone. The wild fluctuations cease. There is only clarity and a quiet, powerful hum. That is emotional neutrality. It is not the absence of feeling. It is the absence of reactivity. You are no longer being pulled and pushed by the tidal forces of the collective emotional field. Your consciousness has withdrawn its energetic investment from the dramas that defined your old reality. The reason those triggers no longer work is because the energetic hook they used to latch onto is no longer there. You are operating from a higher state of coherence. This neutrality is the baseline frequency of the quantum observer. It is a state of immense power, because from this quiet center, you can choose what to feel rather than being told what to feel by your environment. This is the first piece of irrefutable evidence. The second quantum fingerprint is even more startling. The appearance of reality glitches. You've called them synchronicities, meaningful coincidences, moments of impossible timing. You think of someone you haven't spoken to in a decade, and they text you 2 minutes later. You have a question, and the answer appears on a billboard as you drive past. The numbers 1111, 444, or specific sequences begin appearing with such regularity that it defies all statistical probability. The old paradigm dismisses this as confirmation bias. The new physics understands it as an interference pattern. Imagine two overlapping realities. The old one is dissolving, its signal is weak and filled with static. The new one is still forming. Its signal is coherent, but not yet dominant. The glitches, the synchronicities, occur in the space where these two frequencies overlap. They are the moments where the coherent pattern of the new reality bleeds through the noise of the old one. They are not random, magical events. They are data points. They are the universe confirming that your new frequency is beginning to organize physical reality around you. These are the breadcrumbs left by your future self, guiding you through the transition. When you were fully entangled in the old reality, these glitches were rare because the signal was too strong, too noisy. But as you detach, as you enter that state of emotional neutrality, you create silence, you create space. And into that space, the coherent signal of the new reality can finally be perceived. The more detached you become, the more frequent the glitches. They are no longer just a fun surprise. They are a feedback system. They are your new reality's GPS, confirming that your internal shift is now registering on the external screen. The third and final fingerprint is a deep, biological craving for stillness. Suddenly, social gatherings feel draining. The constant noise of the city, the endless stream of information, the pointless conversations, they feel physically abrasive. You find yourself canceling plans, seeking solitude, and craving silence with an intensity that feels primal. Again, the old mind judges this. It calls it being antisocial, lazy, or avoidant. It is none of those things. It is a quantum imperative. You are preparing to lock onto a new, extraordinarily subtle frequency. You cannot tune a highly sensitive scientific instrument in the middle of a rock concert. The noise would interfere with the signal. Your consciousness is that instrument. The craving for stillness is your system's instinctual wisdom telling you to get out of the noise so you can calibrate to the new broadcast. The silence is not empty. It is a charged vacuum. It is the 0-point field, the womb of all creation, where the energetic blueprint of the new reality can be received without distortion. In that stillness, you are not doing nothing. You are doing the most important work. You are allowing the old patterns to fully dissipate and the new coherence to anchor within your cells. This isn't a psychological preference. It's a biological necessity for the next stage of your evolution. You are recalibrating your entire energetic structure. Emotional, neutrality, reality glitches, a craving for stillness. These are not three separate phenomena. They are a single interconnected event, viewed from three different angles. They are the unmistakable signature of the great detachment signal. They are the proof that you are not broken, you are transforming. The evidence has been there all along, but you were taught to interpret it as a problem. Which of these signs have you been misjudging as problems instead of evidence? See them now. For what they are. They are your confirmation. They are the blinking cursor on the screen of reality, indicating that a new operating system is being installed. Comment which of these three signs you're experiencing right now: emotional neutrality, reality glitches, or the craving for stillness. Reading each other's experiences is how we validate that we're not alone in this shift. This isn't just a comment section. It's a real-time collection of data from observers all over the world who are experiencing the same quantum event. It is collective validation. You have done the difficult work of intellectual deconstruction. You have seen the evidence, the fingerprints of the old reality dissolving. You recognize the signs not as problems, but as confirmation. But knowledge on its own is a map. It is not the territory. To truly anchor this shift, to move from intellectual conviction to an unshakable embodied certainty, we must move from knowing to being. We have to experience the frequency directly. So for the next few minutes, I invite you to join me in a direct experience. Not to learn something new, but to feel something true. Find a space where you can be undisturbed. You can sit or lie down, whatever allows your body to feel at ease. And when you're ready, gently close your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath in, and as you exhale, release the day. Release the need to understand, the need to analyze. Just for this moment, let go of the effort. Bring your awareness to your body. Feel the points of contact between you and the surface beneath you. The weight, the solidity. This is your anchor in the present moment. Now, I want you to become aware of the space around your body. Not the objects in the room, but the space itself. The air on your skin. The silence between sounds. We are taught to think of this space as empty. It is not. It is a vibrant, intelligent quantum field, a field of infinite potential, humming with every possibility. Feel into it. Extend your awareness beyond the boundaries of your skin and sense this living field that surrounds you and moves through you. This is the spectrum of all possible realities. All frequencies are broadcasting simultaneously. Your only task now is to become the receiver. Without trying, without forcing, simply hold the intention to become aware of the frequency that represents your new reality, the one that is already complete, whole, and waiting for your observation. Do not look for it with your mind. Feel for it with your entire being. It might appear as a subtle warmth in your chest, a feeling of lightness in your hands, a quiet hum behind your ears. It could be a sense of profound peace that has no logical cause. It will not be loud or dramatic. The old reality is loud. It screams for your attention. The new reality whispers. It is a frequency of coherence, of harmony. Perhaps you feel a flicker of it now, a subtle resonance that feels different. That feels like home. When you sense it, no matter how faint, your work is simple. You observe it. Place all of your gentle, focused awareness upon that sensation. This is the observer effect, moved from a laboratory experiment into your living experience. Your consciousness, your focused attention, is the most powerful force of creation in the universe. It takes the wave of infinite potential and collapses it into a single, tangible experience. So, hold your awareness on that subtle frequency of peace, of clarity, of wholeness. Don't try to amplify it. Don't try to hold on to it. Simply witness it. By witnessing it, you are feeding it. You are telling the quantum field, this one. This is the reality I am choosing. This is the frequency I am now embodying. Feel that frequency begin to stabilize as you hold it in your awareness. It might grow from a small point of light into a gentle warmth that fills your entire chest. It may expand beyond your body, creating a coherent field around you. You are no longer just a receiver tuning into a distant signal. You are becoming the broadcast. This feeling, this frequency, is not something you are reaching for. It is what you are when you let go of everything that is not you. It is your natural state. Stay here. Breathe with this frequency. Let it harmonize every cell in your body. This is the feeling of your new reality. This is the home you have been moving toward. This is the state of being from which new worlds are born. Now very slowly begin to bring your awareness back to the physical sensations of your body, the feeling of the air, the sounds in the room. Keep your eyes closed for another moment. The experience is complete, but the integration is just beginning. As you return, what single word or feeling captures the essence of what you just experienced? Let the first word that comes to mind be the one. Is it stillness? Is it clarity? Is it presence? Freedom? Home? There is no correct answer. There is only your resonance. Take that word and hold it in your heart. This is not just a memory. It is a key, a frequency you can now return to, not by effort, but by simple recognition. When you feel ready, you can gently open your eyes. Welcome back. You are no longer waiting for a signal. You are no longer a receiver hoping to tune into the right station. That phase is over. You are the architect, the embodied certainty. You feel right now is not a fleeting state. It is your new center of operational gravity. It is the foundation upon which a new reality will be built. But an architect does not simply feel the foundation. They must understand the tools to build upon it. This is where we move from the what to the how. This is where you take conscious control. The first tool is the most powerful and the most misunderstood. It is the practice of conscious withdrawal of observation. Here's how to use. Observer effect manifestation in daily life, but in reverse. We have been taught to focus on what we want, to pour our energy into it. But we were never taught the equally critical skill of withdrawing our focus from what we no longer want. Your observation, your focused attention, is the energetic glue that holds your current reality together. Every time you worry about the old problem, every time you relive the old story, every time you emotionally react to the old trigger, you are reapplying that glue. You are casting a vote for that reality to continue. Conscious withdrawal is not denial. It is not spiritual bypassing. It is quantum precision. When a physicist stops observing a particle, it ceases to be a fixed point and dissolves back into a wave of pure potentiality. You will now do the same with the pieces of your life that no longer resonate. That job that drains you, the relationship dynamic that repeats, the self-limiting belief you inherited. You will learn to stop observing them into existence. This is how it works in practice. When a thought or a feeling from that old reality arises, an echo, you notice it without judgment. You see it. But instead of engaging with it, analyzing it, or fighting it, you simply withdraw your focused energy. You let it be there, but you refuse to feed it. Imagine it as a ghost in the machine. You can see its outline, but you know it has no substance unless you give it yours. You turn your attention away, not with force, but with the quiet dignity of a creator who is simply no longer interested in that particular creation. You let it dissolve. The second tool is frequency anchoring. This is the active, creative side of the work. Nature abhors a vacuum. As you withdraw observation from the old, you must consciously broadcast the frequency of the new. Remember that word, that feeling that emerged during our experience just moments ago. Peace, expansion, freedom, stillness. That is not just a word. It is a frequency signature. It is a broadcast code. Your work now is to anchor that frequency in your body. Several times a day, for 30 seconds, for a minute. Close your eyes and recall not the word, but the somatic, physical feeling of it. Do not visualize what you want. Feel the frequency of the reality where it has already happened. Let the feeling of peace, or expansion, or freedom fill the cells of your body. Become it. This is not affirmation. This is transmission. You are calibrating your physical being to become a resonant antenna for the new reality you are architecting. You are actively tuning your quantum radio to the new station, making it your default setting. When the old world sends its static, your anchor brings you back to your broadcast. This brings us to the third and most crucial tool, navigating the echoes. As your old reality begins to dematerialize due to your withdrawn observation, it will not go quietly. It will send out echoes, phantom signals designed to pull your attention back. An old acquaintance will call out of the blue to draw you into old drama. A sudden bill will appear to trigger the old story of lack. An old insecurity will flare up, tempting you to believe that nothing has changed. These are not signs of failure. They are the death throes of a dissolving paradigm. They are tests of your new resolve. They are questions from the quantum field. Are you sure you are no longer observing this? Are you certain you are no longer available for this frequency? Your job is not to fight the echo. Your job is to recognize it as evidence that your work is succeeding. The old structure is becoming unstable, and it is sending out distress signals. You will simply observe the echo, acknowledge it as old data, and then deliberately, consciously, return to your frequency anchor. You feel the old anxiety rise. You label it, the echo of scarcity, and you immediately activate the feeling of wholeness or abundance or peace in your body. You do not engage the ghost. You simply fill the space with so much light that the shadow has nowhere to exist. What is the first old identity or story you will consciously stop observing starting today? The identity of the striver, the victim, the one who is always misunderstood? Make a choice. Declare it obsolete, and begin the practice of withdrawing your observation. This entire phase, this period of the great detachment, can be understood through one final powerful framework. You must treat this period as a chrysalis. It is not an empty void. It is a sacred, pressurized container for radical transformation. Inside a chrysalis, the caterpillar does not just grow wings. It dissolves completely into a nutrient-rich soup. It becomes pure potential. There is a period of utter formlessness before the cells begin to reorganize into the intricate form of the butterfly. That is where you are. The loss of interest, the detachment, the emotional flatness, that is you dissolving into your own essential potential. You are not broken. You are liquefying. You are surrendering the old form to allow a new, more complex, more capable form to emerge. So do not try to rush out of the chrysalis. Do not mistake the sacred silence for emptiness. It is the silence of the architect, reviewing the final blueprints before construction begins. Trust the process. Withdraw your energy from the caterpillar self. Anchor into the frequency of the butterfly, and allow the echoes of the old world to fade, knowing they are merely the memories of a dream from which you are now, finally, awake. You now understand what others mistake for failure. The great detachment signal is no longer a source of confusion. It is a signpost, a marker of graduation. You have learned to read the silence, to find the power in the void that precedes all creation. You have moved from being a passive listener, hoping to find the right frequency on the quantum radio, to becoming the architect who designs the broadcast itself. But this is only the first half of the equation. Recognizing the signal is one thing. Understanding the physics of how that signal solidifies into a new, tangible reality is another. We have talked about consciousness decoupling from one reality. But what about the mechanics of coupling to the next? This is where we leave the realm of signals and enter the physics of materialization. It's where the observer effect stops being a concept and becomes an engineering principle. The new reality doesn't just appear, it assembles. It crystallizes around your new frequency, following precise and predictable laws. This process is known as quantum collapse, and it is the most misunderstood yet most powerful mechanism in the universe. Now that you recognize the signal, what if you could consciously guide what comes next? What if you could understand the blueprint of assembly so well that you could watch your new world physically form around you, piece by piece, encounter by encounter? This is not a metaphor. This is the next step in your evolution as a creator. In our next exploration together, we will deconstruct this process entirely. We will move from the signal to the arrival. I will show you exactly how this works in the video. Quantum Collapse Explained, how a new reality physically forms around you. And after that, we will explore the navigation system of this new reality in synchronicity is faster than you think. It's your new reality's GPS. You've mastered interpreting the silence. Now, we will master what fills it. Subscribe and turn on all notifications. In the next video, Quantum Collapse Explained, how a new reality physically forms around you. We move from recognizing the signal to mastering the arrival. Do not be afraid of this quiet period. This stillness you feel is not emptiness. It is the sacred silence of the architect's workshop, right before the new world is unveiled. It is the calm before creation. You are exactly where you need to be.